Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai, Call Loyim, Wakabah, La Yahweh, Ba'ashim, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim, Arachak Badash. All praise and honor is due to the Heavenly Father, in the name of His one begotten Son, in the name of the Holy Spirit. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone who rule well. Peace, blessings, and salutations unto the hopeful elect tabernacle of David. Now, I'm responding to the latest tweet that was posted yesterday by Kyrie. This was the first, statement that he made on social media ever since he met with the owner of the Nets. All right, and you know, he's still basically not able to be reinstated, to play. All right, he's still got to meet those criteria that they're demanding from him in order for him to be able to play. But this is what he has said, since. All right, and the reason why I want to respond to this tweet because it shows that a lot of people are willing to follow Jake, based on status. All right, being famous, being rich. All right, and they don't know that even this guy, he really does not have the truth. He does not have the understanding of the scriptures. But what you see in this tweet is, he claims he's here to participate in following the word of the Most High. But when you read this whole tweet, you can see that he's still lost. But that's what happens when you're led, in every which way without a foundation. You tend to get lost. Now, Jake have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. All right, so I got to make a reply to this. All right, Kyrie has the stigma of being a dude who likes to, he's into knowledge and he likes to study. Right, he speaks, like a intellectual. But evaluating certain statements that he makes, you could tell that he doesn't really know what he ought to know. Like it says in 1 Corinthians 8, if any man think that he know of anything, he know of nothing as yet as he ought to know. All right, so I'm gonna read it and then I'm gonna just basically you know respond with scriptures to show that this is not a guy to be following. He still needs teachers, especially if he's gonna break away from his profession and be willing to sacrifice, all right, his life in this world and give it fully over to the Most High through His only begotten Son. He's gonna have to unlearn so that he can actually learn the real truth. Otherwise, this is all in vain. All right. So this is what he says. It says, "I was not put here on earth to participate in any religious, political wars or incite racial disharmony, prejudice within communities." So let's just stop and deal with that. He said, "I was not put here on earth to participate in any religious, political wars or incite racial disharmony, prejudice within communities." Well, one, we know that you were put here on the earth to entertain, all right, because your thing is basketball and you're very good at it. All right. So yeah, you was not put on earth to really defend the gospel because you're not a prophet. That's clearly not his lot. All right. Your job, pretty much your role was to just, you know, dribble that ball up and down the court. Make your little 3-point shots, your little layups. All right. But you also are being used because you know that you are an Israelite and you sharing that information that caused this uproar, that sparked the controversy dealing with Zion, the people of the Lord. All right. But either way, um, the scriptures prophesy that there would be, you know, religious, differences, political wars, and it's happening all throughout the world. All right. But if you claim to stand upon being an Israelite and following the word of the Most High, then you're supposed to stand for the God that you serve. You're supposed to, stand on that. Scriptures say to contend for the faith which is delivered unto you. All right, but that's if you're gonna go all out. If not, then yeah, just stick to entertainment. He said, or incite racial disharmony, prejudice within communities. Well, the Heavenly Father Himself, right? He's the one that's doing the inciting. He's inciting racial disharmony. Or the Lord Himself said this. Let's get Matthew 24 real quick. It's Matthew 24 and verse 6. It says, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So you're gonna have, these different wars. That must happen because that's prophecy. The Lord said it was gonna happen. All right, it says, for nation shall rise against nation. That's racial disharmony right there. All right. Certain nations of people rising up against other nations of people. Right now, you're in the midst of a war. They're waging war against you and your people. Are them, making an example out of you? All right, publicly humiliating you. All right, canceling, your sponsors and things of that nature. That's one race of people. That's they're pretty much attacking you. So ultimately, the Lord is the one who's inciting it, and these same group of people, the war that we are having with these people, it goes back to the beginning. It goes all the way back to the garden. Because what is disharmony? It basically is hostility. Look up the word disharmony real quick. All right, lack of harmony or agreement, discord, friction, strife, conflict, hostility. All right, acrimony, bad blood, enmity. All right, let's go back to the beginning. All right, what did the Lord say to the serpent? This is Genesis 3 and 15. It says, we start at 14. It says, and the Lord power said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. So the Lord is the one who created that dynamic where there's going to be natural hostility between one group of people and the other, which later down the line became Jacob and Esau. The enmity carried on First, it was Cain and Abel. Then it became Jacob and Esau. And then you being misled by Mr. Dalton that these people are the sons of Japhet. Well, nowhere in the Bible did it ever say that there would be, ongoing hostility between the children of Israel and the children of Japhet. So biblically, that doesn't make sense. However, it does talk about the hatred that would carry on between Jacob and Esau. Esau, he said it out his mouth that he would hate his brother Jacob, and that never stopped. All right. So ultimately, the Lord is the one who incited that disharmony between the two racial groups. And those same racial groups happen to come out of the same belly. When the Lord, through the angel, told um, Rebecca that, two nations were in her womb. All right. Let's get that real quick. Genesis 25, starting at 23. And it says, and the Lord said unto her, two nations are in thy womb, right? And two manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels, and the one people shall be stronger than the other people. One people shall be superior, all right, in virtue, integrity, strength, character, and the elder shall serve the younger. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. All right, now when you read up above, actually, probably I should have started up. Is Genesis 25 and 21. It says, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him. And Rebekah, his wife, conceived, and the children struggled together within her. Meaning what? It was a fight going on in her stomach, in her womb. Why? Because that enmity that the Lord placed between them going back to the garden. All right. Them same souls came back. The serpent was an actual man. Came back in the form of Cain, and then came back in the form of Esau. This is why you know that circumstance resurfaced, because it's the same two souls who the Lord put enmity between. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord. And he went on to say that these going to be two different races, even though they're coming from the same father. I'm going to make them, I'm going to separate them and make them two different nations. All right. And one people shall be stronger, superior. All right. So there was never going to be true harmony between these two nations. And guess what? That's to this very day, which is why these small hats are attacking you, because they happen to be of that same nation that we've been warned against. The Edomites, not Japhet. All right. And they've shown our people since our very existence that they've hated us. All right. So we were never meant to be in harmony with these people. All right. And then he says, we are all equal under the sun, and I am here to participate in the building of an equal world and follow the word from the Most High God Yah. All right, and this shows you right here that he's not on no level. All right, this is a statement from a dude that's clearly unlearned. Because if you really followed the word of the Most High and you believe that you're an Israelite, a Hebrew, then you would know that we're not equal with everybody else. You're saying what the people want to hear. You speaking smooth words because you want all the momentum to die down. That's what happens when Jake, when you apply pressure to Jake. But this is clearly not true. We're not all equal. The Lord created nations, and He chose us to be a special people to Himself above. Let me get that. How are you following the word of the Most High, but you don't even understand that? Deuteronomy 7:6, and it says, "For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power have chosen thee to be a special people unto Himself, above all people that are on the face of the earth." That's not equal. The Lord sees you with more. He looks at you as more valuable than everyone else. So that means that you're not equal. All right. Look up that word equal, and it says being the same in quantity, size, degree, or value, and that's clearly not the case. All right. Quantity meaning dealing with the number of Israel. Well, the scriptures say about Israel that we're as the sand of the sea that cannot be measured nor numbered. So we're not equal to the nations based on that alone. All right. Size, degree, or value. All right. This very verse right here in the Torah is pretty much the Lord admitting that He values you more than anybody else. So He sees you as unequal with the other nations, which is why He tells you to be holy, be separate from everyone else. Don't do the things you see the other nations do. Let me see. Look up that word special, and the word is sagala. All right, sagala, and it means possession, property, valued property, peculiar treasure. All right, so something that you hold, you know, uh, very special and dear to you, that's very valuable to you. You don't hold anything else equal to it. Let me get let me see what it says in the NET. Let me read it in the NET real quick. And it says, "For you are a people holy to the Lord your power. He has chosen you to be His people, prized above all others on the face of the earth." And you wouldn't even dare to, you know, bring these scriptures out. We've been dealing with these scriptures, man, which is why the world, you know, can't rock with it, because it's not for the world anyway. Now you be labeled a bigot, all right, and a racist for agreeing with this, okay? Which is why ultimately, they're gonna come up with ways to try to, outlaw the Bible. In certain places of the world, you already can't quote certain scriptures because it goes against so-called human rights. It hurts people's feelings. People get offended. But when it comes to Heavenly Father and defending His word, you either gonna be hot or you're gonna be cold about it. You can't straddle the fence. There's no in between. So you have to stand stiffly for the word. All right. So I mean that's just one scripture. Let me get some more precepts. All right, fellas, go to the Apocrypha, and we'll see if we see there's some equality. All right, and everything is just equal. We all are equal, right? This is Second Ezra 6, starting at verse 54, and it says, "And after these, Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, and the people also whom thou hast chosen. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes. As for the other people which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing." So the Lord does not value them the way he values his people, which are the children of Israel, right? That's why he told his people from the beginning, do not do what you see the other nations do. Do not make a covenant with them. Don't give your daughters over to their sons, and your sons to their daughters, because they would turn away your heart from worshiping me. Because these other nations, they're vain. They worship idols. They worship the creation of man's hands, which is all vain. Is brutish, and the practices that they do to commemorate those idols. It's all base. Okay, we're to separate from the acts of these other nations. We're supposed to be uh, um an example. The other nations supposed to look to us for our wisdom, like it says in Deuteronomy the fourth chapter. All right, we're gonna get. Matter of fact, we're gonna get that next. It says, "But be like unto spittle, and has likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel." So that's how the Lord sees these other nations. All right, and this would be considered very offensive, uh, racist. Okay, prejudice, whatever you want to call it. But this is right here in the Bible. You claim you here to follow the word. Well, here's some of his words right here. And then if you don't think this is credible, then we can go to where the Lord said similar in the book of Isaiah. Like, oh, that's cap. That's in another that, that's in the apocryphal. We don't believe that that's canon. Like a lot of these some of these reformed theologists like to claim. Well, we'll go right here. Book of Isaiah 40 and 15. It says, "Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket, and are counted as the small dust of the balance. Behold, he taketh up the isles as a very little thing. And Lebanon is not sufficient to burn, nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering. All nations before him are as nothing, and they are counted to him less than nothing and vanity." You see that? And he feels the same way about the gods that they worship. He said, "No God, there's no God with me." All right, Psalms 96 and 5. "The gods of the nations are idols, but the Lord made the heavens and the earth." Okay, the Lord gave us laws to help govern us, so that we can be a nation of people who conduct ourselves on a better level. Like we got laws dealing with the dietary law. It tells us what foods is good and what foods is not good for us, what's clean and what's unclean. These other nations, they eat whatever the hell they can put their hands on. Like them slanted eyed GOOKs. They'll eat anything out of the water. All right. You had a woman caught eating bat. They eat soup, baby fetus soup. They eat all type of shit, man. Electric eel, squid, and that's abominable. That's unclean and that's unhealthy. So we're not supposed to eat that. Let them eat that. They're heathens. You're to be holy, so you eat what's clean. Fish that have fins and scales. All right. You go to Leviticus 18. This is what the Lord said. Because we have moral relation laws as well, which, our people being among the heathen and being, drawn in their lust, they commit these same acts and they become unholy. Our people right now, they're an unholy people right now because they're living after the manner of these other nations, primarily the damn devil. Edom. Leviticus 18:1, it says, "And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying to them, I am the Lord your power. After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, you shall not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances. You shall do my judgments and keep my ordinances to walk therein. I am the Lord your power. You shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord." So the Lord gave us ordinances. He gave us standards. All right. And that's what separated us from everyone else. Don't commit adultery. Don't commit homosexuality. Do not commit bestiality. Do not commit incest. That's what this chapter is going into. Don't seek familiar spirits. Don't be an enchanter, a wizard, a necromancer. Don't let your children pass through the fire to Molech, because that's what these other nations were doing. Primarily them Canaanites, but the Egyptians were too. All right, we're to be above that. All right, let's get Deuteronomy 4 now. We ain't equal, especially when you come back to your heritage and understand these scriptures. All right, come back to the old way. You become, yeah, you're no longer equal with these people, man. And people that don't believe, even if they're of the nation, you're not to be equally yoked with them either. And I'm gonna get that too. This is Deuteronomy 4, and yeah, I'll just read down. It says, "Now therefore hearken, O Israel, unto the statutes and unto the judgments which I teach you, for to do them, that you may live and go in and possess the land which the Lord power of your fathers giveth you. You shall not add unto the word which I command you, neither shall ye diminish aught from it, that you may keep the commandments of the Lord your power which I command you. Your eyes have seen what the Lord did because of Baal Peor. For all the men that follow Baal Peor, the Lord thy power have destroyed them from among you." All right, he had um Phinehas and them went and slew those dudes because they was sleeping around, with those Midianite women, and they was commemorating to Baal Peor. All right, it says, "But ye that did cleave unto the Lord your power are alive, every one of you this day. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my power commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations." Right? "Which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." All right? So they're going to see that, hey, this people, they're pretty prosperous. All right? Look at how they uh, conduct themselves. Look at how they live. All right? But Jake, look at how Jake lived now. That's the reason why they have such a low lifespan, because they didn't deviated far from the Lord in his ways. It says, "For what nation is there so great, who have the Most High power so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in the things that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that have statutes and judgments so righteous as this law which I set before you this day?" And guess what? It's gonna go back to that All right, when the Lord comes back, all right, because then after these nations get subdued, the law is going to go forth again out of Zion. We're going to enforce the law on the world, and they're going to come up under us, and we're going to have to be preached unto them. So that's not equality at all. We're going to be over these nations, and they're going to bow down to us. You don't bow down to your equal. They're gonna. Was that Isaiah 49 about the nursing mothers and the kings being nursing fathers? This right here shows unequality right here. Isaiah 49:23 says, "And the king shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. They shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and shall lick up the dust of thy feet. And thou shalt know that I am the Lord, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me." All right. So they're going to be doing this to Israelites. That ain't that. That's not somebody that's doing that to you. They don't see you as equal with them. Okay. In the kingdom, we're going to be above these nations. That's our rightful position. Right now, we're at the bottom because we're under that curse. He put these nations over us because we were disobedient. And our blessing, we would be the head and they would be the tail. But right now, we're the tail and they're the head. All right. Going back to right here, when Ezra's asked, if these heathen who are reputed as nothing, how are they over us right now? Right? It says, going back to Second Ezra 6:57, and now, O Lord, behold, these heathen, which have ever been reputed as nothing, have begun to be lords over us and to devour us. But we, thy people, whom thou hast called thy firstborn, thy only begotten, and thy fervent lover, are given into their hands. If the world now be made for our sakes, why do we not possess an inheritance with the world? How long shall this endure? You see? So he was real concerned about that. But we had to endure, all right, because we went off. Okay. But if we continue in the word, hold fast to what the Lord spoke. He said that he would give us power over the nations. And that's clearly not being equal. Yeah, Revelation 2:26, and this is the Messiah speaking. And he that overcometh and keepeth my works unto the end, to him will I give power over the nations, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron. All right, this ain't no equality. Hey, Esau, he rules with a ruling class mentality. He doesn't see you as his equal. This is why he's treating you the way he's treating you right now. You just coming out and proclaiming your identity that you're the people. That's all of a sudden that's anti. He could throw up the anti-SIM card and attack you. They're trying to cast you down from your excellency. All right, they don't believe that you should be on their level. That's the reason why they got all this power and all this control, because they don't see you as their equals. Okay, you had a film come out years ago. I forget what it was actually called. A brother had shared it. I think it was called Jazz Singer or something like that. But and it's a movie that's still being sold. It's still out there. All right, and it's one of the most racist, anti-Jake movies out there, man. And then guess what? The main character is a damn small hat. But they ain't calling for that one to be canceled. So they can get away with that, but you just share a tweet on a documentary, which that shit was watered down like crazy. It wouldn't. I don't even see the hype with that documentary. But you share that, and it's the end of the world for you. The world must stop and sympathize and man, like get the hell out of here, man. But hey, that shows you what that these people they got power and they feel that they are not equal with you. All right, so going back, this is what our Lord said. Verse 27, reading again, it says, "And he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and as the vessels of a powder shall they be broken to shivers, even as I received of my Father." Okay, because the dominion is given to the Son. All right, and we're gonna, we're gonna rule in a kingdom where we're gonna be over the other nations, man. We're gonna rule them, and that's going back to the blessing that was given to Jacob. All right, it said that the nations would serve him. That doesn't sound equal to me. Let's go to the blessing from Isaac to Jacob. This is Genesis 27. Yeah, Genesis 27. I'm gonna start at 25. It says, "And he said, Bring it near to me, and I will eat of my son's venison, that my soul may bless thee. And he brought it near to him, and he did eat, and he brought him wine, and he drank. And his father Isaac said unto him, Come near now, and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment, and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field which the Lord hath blessed." And here, he thinking this is Esau, right? Because initially the blessing, all right, is supposed to go to the firstborn, which is always the heir to an inheritance. But the Lord rejected Esau, as we all know, and gave it to Jacob. All right, before the world was created, he already had it set up that he's going to choose Jacob. All right, it says, "Therefore the Most High power give thee the dew of heaven and the fatness of the earth," meaning the earth's resources, are the oil, okay, the minerals, the crops, the vegetation, fruits, the vineyards, and plenty of corn and wine. Let people serve thee. All right, you're gonna have servants, slaves, and nations bow down to thee. So these people are not your equal. The world is, and this is how you know that this guy they just they ear hustle. Like these celebrities that's starting to come out and speak on Israel, they're just ear hustling, man. But they really don't thoroughly understand and can grasp, all right, what this really is, man. Okay, this guy wants to build an equal world. Well, that's contrary to the word of the Most High. That's not the will of the Most High. We're not going to have an equal world. This is what the Lord intends to do. But this is why He has to take away 2/3 of you so that He can do what He's going to do. You leave it up to Jake. Jake want to be equal with their oppressor. They want to be equal with heathens. And then, if I'm not mistaken, in one of his tweets, he said that he's an omnist. An omnist is somebody who believes in and embraces all religions. So that means that you believe in all of these other religions and their gods. So you're all messed up, man. So you're not following the word of the Most High if you're gonna embrace the religions of these other nations. You all over the place. All right. So let me finish this up. It says, let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's son bow down to thee. And that's the Edomites. They're gonna eventually serve us, and they're gonna worship us. But there's gonna be a time when, after all that, because the Lord's gonna bring vengeance upon them for what they've done against us. We're gonna get rid of them. It says, "Cursed be everyone that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee." Okay, so that's not equality at all. We're not equal under the sun. All right, so you know you're trying to serve or think that you're going to serve the Most High, but also serve the table of devils. Get our 1 Corinthians 10 and 20, and it says, "But I say the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils and not to the Most High." And you embracing all their religions. All right, well, you studied their religions, and you know that some of these religions that these nations serve, they do sacrifices. They're not sacrificing to the Most High. All right. It says, "Not to the Most High, and I would not that you should have fellowship with devils." You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partaker of the Lord's table and the table of devils. All right. And also, let's get 2 Corinthians 6, because we're not to even be equal with unbelievers. In 2 Corinthians 6 and 14, it says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers." We're not to have any company with people who still, you know, they keep Easter and celebrate, uh, you know, Semiramis Day. All right, thanks taken. We're not to keep company with them. They still eat all type of shrimp, crab, shellfish, swine. They still commit adultery. All right, still in them streets, doing all type of wickedness, gang banging, selling drugs, which is witchcraft. All right, they believe on Chesre. All right, they believe on Allah, which, hey, this dude taking pictures with Rizza Islam. He's standing in solidarity with Rizza Islam. That dude serve a whole nother God. He doesn't serve the God of the Bible, because Allah is not the Most High. All right, that's the Arabs' God. The Catholic Church created Allah for the Arabs, and then he quotes from the damn Quran. The Quran has nothing to do with the Bible. The scriptures say in Isaiah 34 to seek ye out of the book of the Lord and read. For no one of these shall fail, and none shall want her mate. All right, so Jake is all over the place, man. But these type of dudes, Jake will be pressed to follow them just because of who they are and what they're involved with. Okay, it says, "Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. For what fellowship have righteousness with unrighteousness, and what communion have light with darkness?" And our people are in gross darkness, man. In the damn Christian church, in the Catholic church, worshiping the sun, worshiping, you know, all type of madness, man. Total darkness. It says, "And what concord have Hamashiach with Belial, or what part have he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement have the temple of the Most High with idols?" But ye are the temple of the living power. And as the Most High said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people. Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord. Be holy, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. So you got to come from away from, the idolatry. You got Jake that are Buddhists, Jake that are, they following everything under the sun, man. Egyptian deities. But if you're embracing all that, you're going against what the scriptures say. Even King David said, "Through thy precepts I get understanding, therefore I hate every false way." That's not the attitude of an omnis. An omnis, he embraces every way. So, there's a contradiction in this tweet here, because you can't be simply following the word of the Most High, but yet you're stating everything that's actually against what the word actually says. All right, but we don't expect you to know all these things, because like the scriptures say in Corinthians, the mighty, the wise, the noble, they're not really called, but you are being used though. But this is somebody clearly not to follow, man, because he still has a lot to learn himself. So anyway, there's way more scriptures I can go into, but for the sake of time, I'm gonna cut it short. But I had to do a response. It was just through the spirit. But Lord willing, this was edifying. I'm gonna give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh Shem Shai. To the next lesson, Shalom.